Welcome, fellow supernatural seekers, to a journey where we're going to be venturing into the dark.
Today, we are venturing into the Paaris catacombs, not just to explore its eerie depths, but to communicate with the spirits that linger within. The Paaris catacombs, known for its haunting history and macabre atmosphere, are believed to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. From residual energies to restless spirits, these underground tunnels hold many secrets waiting to be uncovered. As we navigate through these labyrinthine corridors, we'll be using specialized equipment to detect any fluctuations in electromagnetic fields, which are often associated with paranormal phenomena.
Did you hear that? It sounded like footsteps coming from the distance.
Spirits, if you're here with us, please give us a sign of your presence.
We'll be using a spirit box to communicate with the spirits. It'll start beeping if it captures anything.
Hello, I can hear you.
Who are we with right now?
I am King Louis the 16th.
This is amazing. We've really caught a ghost, and it's none other than King Louis the 16th. Let's ask King Louis everything we can before he goes. Let me just change the voice setting so we can hear King Louis a little clearer. So, King Louis, the storming of the Bastille was one of the first demonstrations of popular support for the revolution. What was your immediate reaction to the significant event that took place in the July of 1789?
Well, when I first heard the news, I was shocked. I asked if it was a revolt, but then I was told it was the start of a revolution. I tried to subdue them with military forces, but that only put fuel to the fire of the Third Estate. I was then forced to acknowledge the constitutional rights of my people, which only decreased my influence.
That must have been difficult for you. As I understand it, the National Assembly was a growing threat to your power at the beginning of the revolution. What are your thoughts on some of the leaders of the Assembly, like Maximilian Robespierre?
At first I was indifferent towards him, as he was a young lawyer without much influence from the town of Arras. His power started to grow as one of the leaders of the National Assembly and the revolution which I stood firmly against.
Well, that is a very reasonable answer, considering your position. Just hold on now. I'm getting some more feedback from this direction here. Hello, is anyone else here with us?
Hello there.
Give me a second to change your voice. In the meantime, who are we here with?
It is I, Maximilian Robespierre.
Your voice should be clearer now. Well, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Robespierre. As one of the leading figures of the revolution, you surely have a strong opinion of the king, I'm sure. Tell me, what are some of the causes of the revolution from your perspective?
The financial status in France was becoming bleak, so the king summoned the Estates General to come up with a new taxation plan. This new plan did not sit well with the Third Estate, so they created the National Assembly through the Tennis Court Oath, which sought to put a limit on the power of the monarchy. That was also when the Declaration of the Rights of Man was written.
It's very well stance. What would be interesting if we could find a Third Estate member, perhaps one to give us a viewpoint on everything, really. Are there any spirits out there that were a part of the Third Estate?
Here I am. I am Jack the Peasant.
Nice to meet you, Jack. I'll fix up your voice, but in the meantime, could you give us a viewpoint on your life during this time frame?
The bread prices were killing me.
They were absolutely unacceptable.
Yes, they were very high, which is another cause of the French Revolution. Would you mind telling us some more factors in which you believe caused the revolution?
Well, all my crops died. And not only that, we were still being extremely taxed for the monarch's extravagant spending.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there were rumors of bread being hoarded in the Palace of Versailles while the common people had none, which was the cause of the March of Versailles that forced the royals to come to live in Paris at the Tuileries.
Yes, and after that, the king tried to flee the country and he was brought back, which only angered the people more. Eventually, he and his wife were put to death.
Robespierre, can you tell me more about the execution of the monarchy?
Well, initially, I disliked the shedding of blood. However, as the revolution prolonged, I've come to understand that sometimes terror is necessary to keep the revolution alive. The execution of the king was absolutely necessary.
What happened after the execution of the king and queen?
After that, we began to be attacked by external forces which threatened the integrity of the revolution. So, I unleashed the reign of terror among the enemies of the revolution, and the Committee of Public Safety was put into power.
Jacques, what are your thoughts on the Reign of Terror?
I honestly was scared to death. So many revolutionaries were being executed for even being suspected. I had to openly support the National Convention and the Committee of Public Safety in order to survive.
This also led to Robespierre's collapse in popularity, which ultimately resulted in him getting arrested by the other members of the National Convention and being beheaded.
And after that, a new power called the Directory, I think, came into power for a few years. But it was obviously corrupt and unstable. It was eventually overthrown by who I believe was a military official, Napoleon or something?
Seems like our journey here is up. Thank you for answering our questions, and thank you, viewers, for joining us for today's episode. Next week, we'll come back here and maybe we'll be able to find some ghosts who can help us tell us more about Napoleon.